Okay, well, haven't had the chance or the opportunity to record this video. I usually do it on Sunday and post on Monday on YouTube, which I love. It's my twice weekly missives, and last Friday, which was the 30th of May, today's the 2nd of June, was my son's graduation from high school. Grade 12 done with in Beverly Hills, California. And I tell you what, I've had one child graduate before that, 2 years earlier, and we have one child left who's just finished grade 10. And if you've followed or heard anything about my life, you'll know that we're going through quite the transition. We made the decision to leave the United States after 30 years in the United States. I've been here and 15 years in LA. And talk about doors closing and new ones opening. We made the decision to leave, co-created with God. 2 weeks ago, Sunday, May 18, I received a clear download from God, from Spirit, to let go, surrender all the ego bullshit, and give it. Let me sit down for a second. And after we'd made the decision, which you're co-creating with God, co-creating with Spirit. How you doing, brother? The next question was, how are we going to do this? We decided to leave LA and go back to Australia, go to Sydney. After 2 really challenging years and hitting below rock bottom, which can be a interesting place to start, that's for sure. So we'd made that decision, and we didn't have the financial means to pull that decision off. And all of these things have been strengthening my spiritual practice, and because it's all spiritual principle. So that decision was made. Spirit said, start a GoFundMe campaign, Sunday, May 18. I was scared shitless. I did it. We've had an ambitious target of $55,000 to get us flights, removalists, and a bit of a runway, a good runway in Sydney, 3 to 6 months. And so it's been phenomenal. We're over halfway. So that's happened. And then my son graduated high school. Some construction going on, of course. My son graduated high school, and look, I'll tell you what, if you've ever moving through closed doors and opening doors and changes in your life, I'm 55. The spiritual nature of a child finishing high school and moving homes and leaving the place that you've been for 15 years, where your children are home, it's quite an almighty, not upheaval, but very emotional. It's definitely time to leave. It's definitely time for a new chapter. So the graduating high schooler, if you're a parent, gives you that definitive opportunity to close one chapter and start a new chapter, albeit in quite a dramatic fashion, as in we're leaving the continent of North America and moving to another continent, some 10,000 miles away or whatever it is. So much is coming up about that closed chapter, and you can't help. I'll speak for myself. I can't help but think about the misgivings and the failures and the opportunities missed, and have you been a good parent, and have I done the right thing, and did the children have a good life, and I hope my little daughter's going to be fine, and all these things that, as a parent, and I don't mean this to say anything else other than if you're not a parent, you may not fully understand that your whole being when you have kids is for your kids. So that all that ego stuff had to be shelved recently, because here we go, we're at a crossroads, look at that. All that ego stuff had to be shelved because, you know, I didn't have the financial means to get home and to go anywhere, and so I had to shelve big time that ego. Now, what's interesting when you're at a crossroads, standing at a crossroads, funny how Spirit has led me to this crossroads right here behind me. What's interesting is what you'll find is that situations and comments and things will show up, right? That, especially when you've stood naked to the world like I did by posting about my situation and starting a GoFundMe campaign so publicly as I did on social media, so the whole world can see it. Now, let's be clear, that wasn't for any other reason other than I got a clear word from Spirit to do that, to reach out and ask for help. What made that slightly easier to do that, to post that and start the GoFundMe campaign, was that I know that I've lived my life as someone who's always willing to support people, whether it's with financial donations, whether it's with support with people getting work or connections and what have you. So I know that I've always been a giver, as Reverend Michael reminds us, be on the side of the givers. And so I know that I've always done that. So that made it quote unquote easier to start the GoFundMe campaign. But what happens is for me is that the ego is still front and center, trying to fuck with you, right? Even though we're in the process of surrendering. When the caterpillar is in the formation, is in the metamorphosis phase and hasn't fully surrendered, it's gnarly, it's messy, it's he doesn't want to give up being a caterpillar. It's gnarly stuff. And so the ego doesn't want to let up. And so what's happened lately in the last week or two is certain people have commented on my act of starting a GoFundMe. And I just see that as made negative comments. 99.99% of people have been so supportive and wonderful, and it's extremely overwhelming and beautiful. Because I know my intention, I know my integrity. But a couple of people have made some interesting comments. And I rather than being defensive, of course, it's an opportunity to look inside myself, because I'm on a quest to go deeper and deeper, and as Howard Thurman calls it, the inward journey. That is my projection, my trajectory, is to keep going in. And so when these negative comments come up, I had to stop and analyze, how am I receiving this? What is this saying about my own ego and what my ego's trying to trip me up and challenge my integrity? Because there's a part of me that felt guilty. There's a part of me that felt like, oh, am I doing the right thing? Am I lazy? Should have I figured this out myself and gone and got a job, etc., etc. I've been trying to get work, don't get me wrong, or figured it out. And so there's a big part of me that was feeling very guilty, because the donations. I'm just doing a quick video. the donations and the support has been phenomenal. And again, I'm so grateful. We're so grateful as a family. And I know my own heart is integrity driven. But there's a side of you, the ego still squirming and trying to take control still, keep control. And it's shown up in this form of messages from people who are being negative about the process that I went through. And there's another chap, a guy he's in Greece, I think, and he was originally from Darwin, and he was very disparaging. And I really had to look at it, well, you get a job, you lazy bastard, and all, whatever, all this sort of stuff. And I really had to go in again and analyse how am I feeling? Like, am I, yes. And, I need to really look at this stuff, not as the defense mechanism. No. It was a great opportunity to take the inward journey again. So, many things. Don't be offended by detractors. Take this opportunity to look at that. Everything's a mirror, and look at it and go, how's my ego squirming to keep control in this situation? Right? Because that's what's happening. So when things come up, it was I felt so easy to defend, and especially this Greek guy in Athens, lived in Darwin. He was so abusive he was very racist and very abusive. One of my best mates was very defensive of me, but he was very racist and very rude. But I wanted to go on the defensive, That was that's my ego, wanting to defend. And so, before you jump down someone's throat and be defensive, don't join them. Step back. Take the inward journey. Listen to what Spirit is trying to say. And acknowledge those feelings, acknowledge that negativity, but don't let it it's not the truth. It's just a mirror of what the dying ego is trying to hang on to. And so that was a great practice for me. So closing doors, fantastic, painful, but again, I had completely committed to surrender. May 18, when Spirit spoke to me clearly, I've committed to surrendering. And that, as Reverend Bernard Beckwith reminds us, that work is not for cowards, it's not for wimps. And so with that, the ego is going to keep showing up and challenging, like it did in the case of these negative comments, because social media is full of that, right? But to know oneself, that's the work. I know myself. And again, I'm just grateful for all the love and support and the blessings. That's what I come back to. So thank you for those individuals, we're all one, for showing up and giving me that opportunity to take an inward journey, take another look at myself. And even in a way, like to know, okay, yes, I made many mistakes. And you know what? I took the ultimate sacrifice and stood naked to the world and owned up to them. And I've made mistakes and I've fucked up. But it may happen again, who knows? But I tell you what, I've learned some valuable lessons. But the alternative was that, and many men are doing this, above the age of 40, it's an epidemic. Men are killing themselves because of the pressure on them. I don't want to die like that. I don't want to die like that. So I stood naked to the world and said, here's where I am. If you can, please support me. Support us. So be brave. Again, this work is not for wimps or cowards. And, if you want to throw a negative comment out there, have a think about it too, because, when this guy first made a negative comment, I sent him a love heart. He told me to take my hat off and stop wearing the stupid hat. And you know what? I'll do what I want. That's what makes me feel good. He said, you're bald. I ain't up to it. I don't give a shit if I'm bald, but I love my pink caps. So God bless you all. Have a beautiful week, and thanks for the so-called negative comments. Thanks for the incredible loving support. I'm so grateful for all of it. Okay, thank you very much. Love you all. Bye. Ciao.